morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Cheers, everybody. Monday, November 10th, 8 a.m. Packed show today. Listen, sometimes I might say packed show, and I don't even know if it's packed. Today, I'm not lying to anybody. I didn't have room for all my topics. Got a guest on as well. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed their weekend. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Thank you for being a part of the channel. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys have yet to do so. What the hell are you doing if you haven't subscribed yet? What the hell are you doing? I'm cranking out content every day. Give the man a follow. Give the man a follow. All right, I'm going to give everyone a rundown what we got going on for the show. I'm going to spend some time reading the comments, get all caught up from that perspective. Thank you all for being here. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Have a sip of your coffee. Take your time. Relax. A little music in the background. Let's kind of, get the week off to a good start here. All right, good. We did good there. Everybody did good there. I want to give everybody credit for that intro right there. All right, so we got another Laker game. By the way, I think 4 Laker games this week. They crank one out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. They're cranking them out. And then they, for some reason, next week basically play one game. So schedule's a little off. Doesn't really make all the sense in the world, but all good from that perspective. Let's give everyone a quick rundown what we got going on for the show today. Here's what we got. I don't want people to overreact. And what I mean by don't overreact, as in, Lakers kind of got blown out against the Atlanta Hawks team on Saturday night. Completely blown out. They didn't have Trae Young. They didn't have Porzingis. They didn't have Nickeil Walker-Alexander. Some other players they didn't have as well. I'm not going to overreact to it. We'll spend a little bit of time on that. I do want to look at assessing the Lakers through the first 10 games of the season. Quick little 10-game assessment. We're about 10% of the season done now. By the way, how does that happen so damn quick? 10% of the season already done for the Lakers. So we'll look at the first 10 games and just kind of what we liked, what we disliked. JJ Redick does something during these post-game pressers that I cannot tell you guys how much that I love. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch his presser, I'm going to play a piece of it during the show. The guy hallucinates. He loses it. There's nothing he can do. There's certain people that can control their emotions. JJ Redick's not one of those guys. And I don't know why I love it, but I love it. Let's just say, where's his emotion on his sleeves? We'll get into that. BT, Brad Turner of the LA Times, is going to join the show in about 10 minutes or so. Brad has been covering the Lakers for years, covering the NBA for years. So looking forward to get his thoughts on the team so far this season. Paul Pierce is suggesting that maybe LeBron comes off the bench when he comes back. All right, that's not going to happen, but we'll talk a little bit about it as well. I got some NBA news as well. There's some stuff on the ratings. I guess the ratings doing a lot better. MVP ladder, where's Luka on that list? They do that weekly on NBA.com. DeAaron Fox is back for the San Antonio Spurs. He looked good in his first outing. So we'll also just kind of take a look at the standings. A surprise team in the Eastern Conference leading the standings in the East there. And then we'll do the weekend recap. So I'll get into some of the NFL. The Rams might be the best team in the NFL. I mean, just simply put. Unfortunately here, I think the Chargers are pretty good too. But we'll talk a little bit about the NFL. We'll look at the standings. Something happened. I'm going to get everybody's opinion on this. I'll do this later in the show before we get out of here. I want to get the temperature of everybody's opinion on gambling in sports, because we had another issue now in baseball. So we'll do that a little bit towards the end as well. And then that's how we're going to start off our week. I'm back on tonight, by the way. Lakers got an early one against Charlotte. So they play at 4 p.m. And they take on the Charlotte Hornets without LaMelo Ball. So I'll be back after that game as well. Let's take a look at a couple of the comments, get the show started, and we will go from there. Let's see what people got here. JJ talks when he loses. That's trash. Talks the talk when he wins. Okay. JJ is not zen. He's passionate, just like Lakers fan base. Okay. Ocean Breeze here. When you fail, you don't start from zero. You start from experience. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Phenomenal. Great quote there. I think on Friday I had like a showdown between a couple of people challenging each other. Ocean Breeze always comes in with the quotes. Then somebody came in with a quote as well. It was like, do we have some competition here on some of the quotes? Thank you, Ocean Breeze. I appreciate you chiming in. Let's see what we got here. December 15th is only about 5 weeks away. Could trade for recently signed free agents. We're overreacting, baby. Okay. All right. Morning, Slee. Should I take a sip of my coffee? You should. You should. Hey, just have a sip of your coffee. We'll both do it together. Cheers to you, brother. All right, let's get the show started. Thank you, like always. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Let's get things started. So, kind of a really random game on Saturday night. Nothing like I expected. I really thought the Lakers would kind of maybe even hand it to Atlanta, blow them out. Maybe the fourth quarter, Luka gets to sit because Lakers got such a comfortable lead. Instead, the Atlanta Hawks did to the Lakers what the Lakers have done all season. What'd the Hawks do? The Hawks undermanned, no Porzingis, no Trae Young, number of players missing for them. And instead of what the Lakers have done, kind of making no excuses and coming out and fighting and competing and figuring out a way to kind of out-battle their opponent, it was the Atlanta Hawks that did it to the Lakers. And before you know it, it's like just the way the game started. Yeah, I don't know if I'm too crazy about this one. Lakers giving up a lot of easy buckets. Lakers, a lot of layups around the basket. It's like, well, this doesn't really feel like Lakers basketball. And playing from behind the entire time. I thought maybe, just maybe, well, maybe this was a bad first half. Lakers are going to come out in the second half and everything's going to correct itself. Lakers are going to be fine. They'll look great. They'll figure it out from here. Second half starts, maybe a couple quick buckets, but a couple minutes into the third quarter, you're like, this ain't happening. This is Atlanta may very well just blow this thing open, and they did at one point up 30 against the Lakers. Worst loss of the season. I think there's no real surprise, or I think there's no kind of conversation there. It's the worst loss of the season. Lakers have had 3 losses this year. They're 7-3 through 10 games. The first loss they had against the Golden State Warriors. The second loss, obviously the Portland loss that they had, but that was their first game without Luka, and Lakers looked confused and overwhelmed and came back and rebounded well after that. Saturday night was the worst loss Lakers have had all year. Now, I have here, don't overreact. Here's why I tell you don't overreact. Now, I'm not telling you that it wasn't a bad loss. It was. I'm not telling you that, the Lakers approached that game completely the wrong way and kind of disrespected the game. I'm not trying to make any excuses for the Lakers because, frankly, there really is no excuse. The Lakers did not play well, and there was no reason why they lost that game. But the reason why I'm not going to overreact is because games like that do happen in the NBA. They do happen in the league, and it just kind of comes with the territory. And when you play 82 games, you're going to have some shitty games, and that was a really bad one for the Lakers. It won't be the last one. There's going to be some more that happen as the season progresses. But the Lakers have shown me at least enough that I don't think what we saw on Saturday is their DNA. I don't think what we saw on Saturday we have to be overly concerned about. I think that was just a game the Lakers didn't come prepared for, and the Atlanta Hawks served it to them. And maybe, just maybe, that could be a great learning experience for this Laker team, that you can't just show up to work and think that the other team is just going to fold. And maybe some teams have done that to the Lakers because LeBron's been out, Luka's been out, AR's been out. There's been kind of a combination of all these guys that have been missing for the Lakers so far this year. The Lakers kind of took a page, or the Hawks took a page out of the Lakers book, and the Lakers, just underestimated their opponent and thought they could just show up and who cares, and 20 turnovers, and it just didn't matter. We're going to win this game. Clearly didn't happen. I do think there's some benefit. I really do. When I say I think there's benefit, I think some of the benefit just comes from kind of getting back into that position down the road And if they get back in that position down the road, does it serve them better simply because they found themselves in a spot where they weren't prepared for their opponent? Okay, I want to play something for you guys here real quick. JJ Redick, maybe some people love him, maybe some people hate him. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I think JJ Redick's done a good job so far for the Lakers. That's not really what the conversation's about. But there is something I love that JJ Redick does that he absolutely has no control over himself. I'm going to share my screen here with you guys. I'm going to play a piece of the JJ Redick interview from Saturday night after they lost. And it's kind of funny because, and I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just going to play kind of a clip of this here. What's most entertaining to me in this JJ Redick presser is, number one, the guy cannot control his anger. When he's upset or, he's not happy, he can't control it. But as the interview goes on, he gets more frustrated. And it's not because of any of the reporters. It's not because anything specifically happened. I think he's just the realization of they were down 30 against Atlanta at one point, against a team that's not good and a team that doesn't have a lot of his stars. So without really anybody egging him on, he just gets more and more frustrated. I just want you to take just a piece of this, just take a listen to a piece of this, and then we'll react to it.
So now kind of what's next? What's next? Is it kind of just you can flush this one, or do you look at it after, or is it just let's just forget and move on to the next one?
No, we're going to look at it for sure.
Was there a moment in that third quarter that you realized that this was not going to be one of those nights where at least your first unit was going to get that?
I realized that in the first 2 minutes of the game.
What did you see in those first 2 minutes?
Nothing.
Thanks, Coach.
I love the thanks, Coach, at the end. That was it. That was JJ's presser. I mean, there was a little bit in the beginning too, but all his answers were just basically he's disappointed, doesn't really understand what the team was doing. And I mean, it just really short answers. I mean, he really didn't say much. That might be one of the things I like most about JJ. When he's frustrated, I think he's sharing a very similar sentiment as a fan would. If you're watching the game on Saturday, was there any part of that game that you said to yourself, hey, I'm enjoying this. Hey, this is a good product. Hey, you know what? This is the Lakers through the first 9 games. This looks exactly like what I've seen all season long. That was probably the biggest shocker of the game on Saturday. It was zero identity to what the Lakers have kind of built through the beginning of the season. Listen, I know coaches have different personalities. I know some of them can hide their emotions and their feelings better. I know some of them will bullshit the media left and right. They just won't give you anything. I think JJ has a very authentic way of showing, I am so frustrated. He's not playing an act. This isn't I'm just going to pretend I'm frustrated. So maybe the fan base and everybody else thinks I really care. No, I think he really cares. And I think that, Saturday night was a reflection of him, was a reflection of the team. And I think that really bothered him, especially where the Lakers have gained all this equity. And, someone like myself, and I know a lot of other people are talking Lakers basketball, local basis, national basis, whatever the case is, there's been a respect level to what the Lakers have been able to do so far this year. And part of that respect level is how hard they play, how little amount of the excuses they make. It doesn't matter who's on the floor. There's I've said that before. I've said that one of the things that I've enjoyed so far about this Lakers season is I respect the way they play. I respect their fight. I respect the way they respect the game. And Redick, if he's got a lot to do with that, and that's been part of the blueprint and why the Lakers have started out the season 7-3, he deserves a lot of credit for that. The game on Saturday was not the Lakers that any of us have watched all season. The game on Saturday, I don't think, is reflective of what this Lakers team DNA is. I think it was one bad game. And I'm not going to hold too much to it, and I'm not going to overreact to it. They got another game coming up starting at 4 p.m. tonight. taking on another bad team that doesn't have their star in LaMelo Ball. There's some other, I think Brandon Miller's out of this game. They got some other players, they got some other players as well that I know are questionable. They're not going to be healthy as well. All right, we'll find out what the Lakers are made of. Was that just, hey, one bad game to start your road trip where you really, really overlooked your opponent and got punched in the chin and did nothing about it? Or does it lead to something that's a little bit more concerning? I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Lakers will have kind of learned from their mistakes, and JJ Redick said whatever he needed to say during that presser, and I think the Lakers will be ready to go tonight. But we won't know until that game tips off later tonight. But for me, seeing JJ Redick in some of those post-game pressers, I got to be honest, it's a little refreshing to me. I like when, yes, he's not Phil Jackson. He's not the Zen master. There's certain coaches that won't show you anything. That's not JJ Redick. He's going to show you whatever he's feeling. You're going to be able to see it. And I think we saw that in his post-game presser right there. Okay, I know we got a lot of comments. People want to react, so I'll get a chance to take a look at some of that. Before I do, I got to welcome in our guest. Very nice with his time here. Thank you very much to Brad Turner for joining the show. BT, good morning, my brother.
Alan, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm surprised I'm not seeing you walking around the mean streets of Pasadena down on South Lake looking so cool and fly. Man.
BT, listen. I'm in your neck of the woods, not all the time, but I'm just trying to add to what the foundation you've created in Pasadena.
Man, I'm telling you what, you look so cool walking around those streets, man. I thought, look at this guy.
All right, here's what happened, man. For those who don't know, obviously nobody would know. BT and I both know that obviously Brad Turner, born and raised in Pasadena. I think Pasadena is the best city in LA. I'll throw that one out there, and I don't even think it's close. That's my personal opinion. Opening day, this is Lakers getting ready to play. I'm out. I think I just finished. I went to the gym, and then I'm walking back. It's close enough to walk, and I just hear somebody yell from their car, Al, Slee, whatever you said. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I just see there's BT, yeah. Brad Turner driving by saying hello.
I was leaving. I just left shoot around. I was going to get something to eat for lunch. And I look up and I see this cool bald-headed guy like me with a cool bald head.
Yep.
Walking around. I thought, wait a minute. I know who that is. That's Alan.
Who the hell is this guy? Who the hell is this guy?
Crazy, crazy day.
Well, BT, I appreciate you hopping on the show. Good seeing you as always, bud. And great seeing you at a couple of these games so far. I was just talking about, you've covered JJ Redick for a while. So, yes. and I know there's obviously a relationship there, and his time when he was with the Clippers, obviously now head coach of the Lakers. Just watching I like it. I like the JJ Redick that I saw on Saturday, who can't hold his emotions, that can't play it cool. He's like, yeah, you could tell he's very, very frustrated. Maybe for some of those that, don't have a personal relationship with JJ Redick, or those that only know him as a former player or the current coach of the Lakers, what is Redick kind of behind the scenes? And does any of that stuff surprise you when you see his emotions after a game, almost as if he is a player?
It doesn't surprise me because, as you said, I did cover JJ when he played for the Clippers. Although during that time, he was on a team that had Doc Rivers, who loved to talk to the media, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, and Jamal Crawford. So he may have been sort of like the fifth wheel on that team, but very intelligent, very smart. Yes, high-strung, very intense, wanting to win every game. As we know, you're not going to win all 82 games. You're not going to go 20 from the field. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have some bad games. Now, saying that, I also learned the game of basketball from someone like Jerry West, learned it from Pat Riley, and the main guy would have been Phil Jackson. So I'm more inclined with cool, calm coaches that I don't believe you can always show your emotions. But if that's JJ's way of doing things, and if his players accept that and understand that, then that way they can have some success.
What do you make of I guess, trying to figure out the DNA of the Lakers? And listen, we're 10 games in. I think we have a good idea of what the DNA is. Now, I know they haven't been whole. I know they've been obviously missing some key players in and out of the lineup. LeBron, we've yet to see. But is that DNA of who the Lakers are, which seems to be Atlanta? The game on Saturday was a terrible example of this, but it seems to be a team that will play for 48 minutes, will play tough, doesn't make any excuses. How much of that is kind of derived from your head coach?
A lot of it is the one thing JJ has stressed is playing hard. And if you play hard, you then in turn will be efficient. You will be accepting of being coached hard. You will do all the things the right way. For example, DeAndre Ayton sets really good hard screens. That means he's playing hard. When Austin Reaves was playing before the injury put him out, he was playing exceptionally hard. Luka plays hard. So if you play hard, you give yourself the chance to win and to overcome some of the mistakes. So that is JJ Redick. JJ Redick was a really good shooter when he played in the NBA. Wasn't a great athlete, a good athlete, but he had to play hard. He had to run to his spots very hard in order to get open. So he's telling his team, his players, let's start with that foundation. And then you have Marcus Smart. Man, he has become one of my favorite guys on the team. Just to talk to after he does interviews about giving guys patience to learn the game, playing defense, how the game has changed from the time he came into the league. It's 12 years later. He plays hard every single possession. So if the coach says you have to play hard, if you have a 12-year veteran who's playing hard, then all the other guys also have to play hard as well, especially because they all respect Marcus Smart so much.
What is that? I was going to go in a different direction, but let's stay on Marcus Smart here for a quick second. It's interesting, his value to the team, because I don't think you and I a game could end and we could look at a box score and say, all right, hey, Marcus Smart was valuable or he was not valuable based off a sheet of paper. What have you liked from Marcus Smart so far? And what are kind of some of the intangibles that you think he's brought to the Lakers that maybe not everybody sees based off, like I said, a stat sheet?
An example, there was one game where he was called for a technical foul, a flagrant foul, and they still won the game. And he still took charges. That is Marcus Smart. You really can't quantify what he does on the stat sheet. And I think in that same game, he had 12 points, shot the ball well, but his teammate looks for him to have little sayings just to get out there and do things the right way. He is someone that I watch from afar, especially when he played for Laker fans, those dreaded Celtics. It's someone that I kind of admired. Now, to recall him getting his Defensive Player of the Year award from Gary Payton, who I got to cover. And if Gary Payton says you're good, and he puts that head up like that, and he admires you, that means you are doing something really good in the NBA. And Marcus Smart has become a very, very good defensive player and a solid all-around NBA player in this league.
Yeah, I think the only question mark with Marcus Smart coming into this season was how many games can he give you? What's his health going to look like? So far, I'm with you. I feel, and I really like it because I think a lot of people who sometimes are in the chat or I just hear other Laker fans, I think they're appreciating and kind of showing that, hey, yeah, this guy is valuable, and it's not because he had 25 points, because that ain't going to happen. Right. He'll find other ways to, obviously contribute to this team. BT, it's 10 games in, 7-3. If I'd have told you before the season started, which by the way is a little bit of a trip, we're already 10% through the season. You know how, if you're somebody who covers the Lakers or covers sports or the NBA, you have your own calculation of the season of this. You get to Christmas, you get to this, and you kind of start figuring out how deep you are. But it's kind of a little surprising. We're already 10% in. If I'd have told you the Lakers were 7-3 through the first 10 games, and that LeBron hasn't played yet, Luka's been in and out of the lineup, Reaves has been in and out of the lineup, some other guys, Gabe, Vincent, DeAndre, and Jackson, I mean, a lot of guys have missed time. What do you make of the 7-3 start? And I guess kind of trying to figure out here, is this something that the Lakers have built that you feel is sustainable in the Western Conference?
No, I would say despite the loss to Atlanta, which was disconcerting in a way, that the Lakers are one of the surprise teams, considering everything you just said. I didn't foresee 7-3 after 10 games, with LeBron James being out all of those games, Luka missing games, they are missing games, DeAndre having back spasms, missing a few games. It just says that if you pay attention to detail, if you follow the game plan, if you play hard, you would give yourself a chance to win. And that's all you want to do, is give yourself a chance to win. And look, they are one of the best offensive teams in the league. I didn't foresee that coming. I knew Luka would be great, but I just didn't see Austin at one point averaging, 30, almost 32 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, amazing what he's done when those guys are out. I mean, it's just that can they sustain it? Look, it's 82 games, ebbs and flows, up and downs. Yes, they may have another clunker in them, or 2 or 3, like they did at Atlanta. But then think back to when they went at Sacramento, when Austin went for career high 51. That was a game we thought they might lose. So you have games like that. That's just the way the league is. They have the depth to sustain it. They have the coaching staff led by J.J. Redick. And I think we still have to admit, Luka Doncic wants to prove to everyone that he is a great player and he should be in the conversation for MVP.
Yeah, there's some games on the schedule. I mean, I think of the one, they're at Portland and nobody plays. No Luka, no LeBron, no Austin Reaves. There's another game where you're like, yeah, this is going to be an L. So you're right. In an 82-game season, there's always going to be games where you feel like, yeah, they got no shot, and here they are in it in the fourth quarter, or hey, this is a layup, and they're losing by 30 on a Saturday night in Atlanta without Trae Young and Porzingis. That's going to happen. When I asked how much of this is sustainable, I guess my question is this: of what they've done so far this season, what they've been able to accomplish, games are going to get tougher in the Western Conference. Obviously, as we kind of start moving a little bit closer to December 1st and get close to the Christmas games and everything else, we'll have an even better idea of what this Lakers team is, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses. I don't know if you could figure all that out in 10 games, but what are the things that you've seen so far that you feel, okay, hey, this is their identity. This is how they're going to win games. Is that more offensive based? Do you see glimpses on the defensive side where you think, okay, hey, they can lock down teams, maybe not be the best defensive team in the NBA, but get stops when they need to? Are there one or two things that you think stick out?
Right now, I think the offense is ahead of the defense, which shows you, because I think they're top 5 in shooting percentage. And they're sort of toward the bottom 10 and points allowed in the NBA. Now, they have 2 really great defenders, and Marcus Smart and Jared Vanderbilt. Now you have to have other solid defenders. We're starting to see now that DeAndre Ayton can defend some, Jackson Hayes can block some shots, but their true identity right now is they can score the basketball with anyone in the league. They have the ultimate weapon in Luka Doncic. They have another great weapon in our guy, Austin Reaves. So once the defense catches up, which right now I guess may take a little time, because at some point they have to incorporate LeBron James back into this, and we just can't expect a 41-year-old LeBron James, he'll be 41, next month in December, to be out there chasing around a bunch of 25-year-old players. So you need to become a good defensive team as a whole. And that's the one thing they have to improve upon, work on. And I think that will happen. But right now, the offense is really ahead of the defense.
BT, I think there's no way to predict what the Lakers will get when LeBron does come back. But what we've seen it enough. I mean, this is, I want to say, the most unique part of his career. He's never missed an opener. right? And this isn't just missing 1 or 2 games. This is, he'll probably, when the dust settles, miss at least maybe 15 games, 16 games. We'll see. Whenever he does come back. What kind of expectations do you have for when LeBron returns? Not from a team perspective, just more, I think, an individual perspective. What do you think we get with LeBron based off of knowing that, okay, this is unique? In his entire career, he's never had a start to the season where he's not there on opening night. And in this case, you'll have missed probably close to 20% of the season.
I want to say the same of what we saw last season, which to me was amazing, that he could produce the way he did. His IQ and his level of the game will overtake anything that he may lose, because he's played so long in the NBA. I mean, for the time, to use that cliche, has never lost, and it won't lose here either. At some point, it will happen. It won't be this season, I don't think. We still need to see him get on the court. I just think that because he plays the game the right way, because he's such a willing teammate, a willing passer, a willing player who will pass the ball to the right guys, who will shoot it at the right time, who will encourage his teammates. That is LeBron James I expect to have back. How many games he'll play this year? Man, he's missed his first 10. And I just don't you don't want to push it, because you really want him healthy and playing at his peak come playoff time.
Let's assume the Lakers are healthy and they got all their guys, and even throw in some of the role players. Gabe, Vincent's available, and let's just kind of put everybody in there. Do you feel like you have an idea what that ceiling can be for the Lakers in the Western Conference, or is it tough to assess? Because I mean, look, I'll give you my opinion, or just walking into the season, it was really tough to assess the Lakers. I don't know what Ayton's going to do. I don't know. Is Jake LaRavia going to fit in perfectly? Right. Is Marcus Smart? Is he healthy enough? I think there was enough questions there. They jump out 7-3 start. They still have to incorporate some big pieces. And I mean, even Austin and Luka, it's not like they've played 10 games together. They haven't. I'm talking about this season. That has not been the case. When everybody is there, do you feel like you have an idea what the potential of this team can be in the West?
It's hard to say for me, Adam, because the West,
I agree.
It is tough, man. I mean, one team we're overlooking, maybe not overlooking, but not talking about, are the Denver Nuggets. Mm-hmm. Well, I think the Denver Nuggets are now number 2 in the West.
I think you're right.
And OKC is the cream of the crop. Mm-hmm. They are the best team out there. They are the deepest team. They have the MVP. I'm not going to say Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is the best player of the league, but he might be the best player in the league. He's just that good. So Denver's playing really well right now. The Lakers are playing good basketball, playing solid. Minnesota's starting to kind of find their way. Golden State won last night, obviously without Steph Curry. I mean, it's just, man.
Houston,
every night. Houston,
Rockets, yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, I watched them play. They won at Milwaukee. I mean, they have a really deep team. If they are missing something, it's at the point guard position, but they're finding ways to still win games. So it's it won't be easy, but it shouldn't be easy. This makes it fun. And sure. I'll say this: the one thing I learned from the great Kobe Bryant and the great Phil Jackson is to enjoy the process. Don't skip steps. Let the process take care of itself. And when it does, and you play hard, again, there's that word, you play hard, you will find yourself doing some good things.
BT, we spent kind of coming into the season, a lot of chatter about Luka and AR, and would those two fit together in a backcourt? And AR is eventually going to get paid. How much money do you want to go to that? Just kind of where do you stand on those two players playing together, that backcourt? I'm just curious to get your thoughts on maybe where your head is at with those two individuals, short term and long term.
Let's just start with their bromance. These two dudes.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just gonna call them. They're like clowns with each other. I mean, They're funny. And that makes it enjoyable to be around both of them. You see them crack jokes about each other. I mean, I think it was a game at Minnesota when Austin Reaves made the game-winning floater, and someone asked Austin after the post-game interviews, "Hey, did you see Luka's quote or his text?" He goes, "What does it? What did he say?" It was Austin Reaves, GOAT.
Mm-hmm.
And Austin goes, "Luka, stop talking about yourself." I mean, it was just a great line. So once they take that friendship off the court and bring it on the court, they have learned to play with each other. Yes, Luka is ball dominant, but he understands that he has a guard next to him who can also create, who can also make it easy for Luka, make it easy for the teammates. I mean, I was asked recently, are they the best backcourt in the NBA? And at this stage, 10 games in, even though they missed games, I'm going to say yes. Now, that could change over time, but right now, I think they are the best backcourt in the National Basketball Association.
BT, you got any, and I know this is kind of jumping ahead here, but any concern with Austin Reaves' future with the Lakers? Or do you feel like, and I mean, we're so early, but I think it's safe to say that that's been a conversation, read a lot of articles where, what can he make in the offseason, everything else. You think Austin Reaves is here long-term with the Lakers?
No, I do. From just talking to him.
I do too. Yeah.
The Lakers gave him his chance, and they continue to give him opportunities. It's going to come down to guys want to get paid.
Sure.
I mean, I'll go back to the great Jerry West, who's never been wrong about basketball. And then rest in peace, Mr. West. He's always said NBA players, they want to get paid, and they want to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't blame him. Man, heck, I want the LA Times to pay me a little bit more money. I mean, I love what I'm getting paid, but we all want to get paid to live a really good life and have fun out there. I just think that from talking to Austin, from speaking with his representatives, they're doing a great job out there. They're smart. I mean, bet on yourself. That's what Austin has done. And the Lakers are smart. They're wise. They take care of their players, especially the really good players. And so I just don't see the marriage breaking up. But until he signs an extension, there's always a chance he could leave.
I think there's and I do agree with just kind of the piece of them giving it feels like by Lakers giving him that first opportunity, believing in him and everything else, and he's more than delivered. He said so many times publicly he wants to be a Laker. All right, maybe he can make a little bit more money in Washington or in a different location, but maybe that kind of takes away his love of the game the way he loves it today, and this chance to compete with the Lakers. Maybe there's a little bit of a hometown discount. Maybe not much, but we'll see what happens down the road. BT, coming off the loss against the Atlanta Hawks, it's kind of a similar game tonight. You're playing Charlotte, a team that not everybody's expecting to make a ton of noise. LaMelo Ball's not playing. I know Brandon Miller's not playing in this game as well. So there's some key players that are out as well. What do you expect tonight? The attention will now be on the Lakers a little bit. Hey, you're coming off a bad loss. You were down by 30. JJ walks off in the presser like, I got nothing to add. I got nothing to give you guys here. You expect a much different Lakers team than from Saturday night?
Oh, absolutely. I expect a better sustained effort, which was lacking. Once they got hit in the mouth, another cliche, the Lakers sort of just backed up and just let it be. Like, oh, we'll accept this.
Sure.
Well, there's no accepting defeat. There's no accepting not playing hard, doing the right things. Tonight, we'll give them a chance to, in some ways, redeem themselves. But I expect just a better sustained effort, which then in turn gives you a chance to win more games.
BT, it's going to be fun. And obviously covering this team all season is going to be enjoyable as well. I appreciate your time as always. I'm hoping down the road here we can do this again, but thank you for coming on the show. And hopefully, we walk outside and I see you in Pasadena here pretty soon.
Hey, man, I'll be here and I'm sure you will be too.
Yes, sir. Thank you, BT. I'll see you soon. All right, brother?
All right. Thank you.
All right. That's Brad Turner of the LA Times right there. All right. Good stuff from BT. Good man right there. Good man. Always enjoy having my conversations with him and, organizing, coming on the podcast and everything else. Okay, so he expects the Lakers to definitely rebound tonight. Early game, 4:00 tip-off against Charlotte, and I'm with him. I mean, I would honestly be absolutely shocked if by the time we do our post-game show tonight, I'm talking about Lakers losing 2 in a row. I don't see it happening. Yes, anything can happen, but that ain't going to happen. All right, I got comments here that I'm going to start reading into, and then I got a number of other topics that I'm going to get into. Before I do so, shout out to Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm. I got a great example for everybody out there, and hopefully you guys never need Brad Wallace, but things happen. And if you are in the state of California, need an injury attorney, don't look anywhere else. Just trust me on this one. Brad Wallace from the Wallace firm. Just about 2 months ago, an auto insurance company made a $1.25 million offer to one of Brad's clients whose case was going to trial in Palm Springs. But after Brad Wallace selected the jury and delivered his opening statement, the insurance company decided to pay Brad's full $2 million demand before the first witness was called to the stand. Not surprised at all. This is kind of what Brad Wallace and the Wallace firm do. These insurance companies are always trying to settle, give you the least amount of money possible. Brad will fight for you. If you or a family member, a friend, anybody is been in a serious injury, wrongful death case, and they don't know what to do. It's an intimidating process. It's a daunting process. You don't know where to start. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. wallacewins.com/Sliwa, or you could click on the link in my description and let him at least just kind of guide you. Let him and his team guide you in the right direction. And I know he'll be able to help. If I can help in any way, by putting you in touch with Brad Wallace, I'm happy to do so as well. wallacewins.com/Sliwa. wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Okay, let's take a look at some of the comments here. Let's see what everybody has here. Let's see what we got here. I'm overreacting. Knew the wheels had to fall off eventually. Are we really overreacting off that loss? All right, I actually, today, I don't know if I have a good sense of where people are in today's show just based off having a guest. And I try not to look at the comments sometimes with a guest because I want to be responding based on what the guest is saying. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's look at some more here. We kind of go to the front of the line here. Comeback when Reaves and Luka actually do something. Okay, here's Johnny. Not a crazy, I guess, of the duo. All right. See if find a couple comments here that we can work with. Got some stuff on LeBron. Okay. All right. Okay, got to be honest with you. Nothing in the chat that's drawn my attention. Okay? Nothing in the chat that's taking me over here and saying, Al, you got to talk about this. I'm going to let you guys kind of figure some stuff out. I'll come back to you guys. And we'll go from there. All right. So let's keep rolling here. I got a couple other things I want to get into here real quick. By the way, just to kind of give everyone an idea, Austin Reaves, questionable for tonight. So maybe the Lakers get him back, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. I saw this as well. Gabe Vincent, our buddy Kobe Price, who covers the Lakers for the SoCal news groups, come on the show recently. He was reporting that he's been progressing well. While his return isn't imminent, there is hope that he could be a week away. That's on Gabe Vincent. And I could predict already what the comments are going to be. Al, don't talk about Gabe Vincent. Who cares? Guys, the more players they have available, the better it is for the Lakers. So I'd rather have Gabe Vincent than not have Gabe Vincent. I'd rather be able to go to him than not go to him. I'd rather have Maxi Kleber than not have Maxi Kleber. So as all the Gabe Vincent comments probably start rolling in, like who cares, I'd rather have these players than not have these players. Obviously, Austin Reaves is a completely different conversation. JJ did say, I think on Saturday before the game, that they'll get Austin Reaves back during this road trip, but it's a 5-game road trip. So what does that mean? Does he come back tonight? Does he come back the last game on Saturday against Milwaukee? So we'll have to wait and see. But just to give everyone an idea, those are a couple of things that I wanted to mention off the bench or mention off of players that could be coming back. Okay, real quick, I want to give an assessment here, okay? And I'll get your guys' thoughts on this as well. I mentioned it briefly to Brad Turner, but I do want to get into it. Thoughts on the first 10 games of the season. Lakers are 7-3, about 10% into the season. There should not be anybody who's on this channel or who's a Laker fan that is complaining about the Lakers start. There's no complaining. Yes, could they have beat Atlanta? Sure. They play bad? Of course. Yes. I'm not giving them a free pass. I'm just telling you that. If you would have told me before the season started, 10 games in, Lakers are 7-3, I think somebody was asking. I might have said 6-4, I want to say. But I think somebody was asking before, hey, Slee, before the season started, what's your 10-game prediction? People had 5-5. People had 4-6. People had 3-7. Some people had 7-3 or 6, whatever it is. Everybody's just, making their predictions. I didn't think 7-3 was on the table. And with as many injuries that they've had, with as many guys that have been in and out of the lineup, I think it's very, very impressive to be 7-3 at this point. And if you're looking at the standings, not that the standings really matter this early in the season, but if you're looking at the standings, OKC is 10-1, San Antonio 7-2, Denver 7-2. Lakers are right behind them with 7-3. So I don't think you could have really asked for a better start to the season. I think the team does play hard. I think Luka clearly is going to be an MVP candidate all year long. Austin Reaves is an absolute stud. Marcus Smart's fitting in. Ayton's fitting in. Jake LaRavia's had some moments. I don't think you could have asked for a better start from the Lakers. 10 games in, 7-3. I'm assuming that everybody would have signed up for that. I'm assuming that everybody thinks what the Lakers have been able to do so far early on in the season has been pretty good. So whether they're able to sustain it, that's the piece where I'm not sure. Let me give you an example. They got 4 games left on this road trip. Basically, you got to beat Charlotte and New Orleans, which is part of your 4 games left. And then you're going to have 2 tough ones. I think the one against OKC, obviously I don't need to tell everybody. By the way, they doing all that without Jalen Williams? I don't even think Jalen Williams is back yet. They're already 10-1. Shows you just how much they're going to blow ahead of everybody here, at least in the regular season. OKC is going to be a tough game on Wednesday, but what a great kind of test for the Lakers as well. And then they got an interesting one on Saturday against the Milwaukee Bucks, who I think is beatable. But the rest of this road trip, I think there is a little bit of, okay, how sustainable is this? You go on the road, you play some tough games, you get guys like Giannis, you get guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You already kind of laid an egg in the first game that you had against the Atlanta Hawks. I love seeing what this Lakers team has done so far. And then I got a lot of curiosity. Are they able to kind of grow off of this? Are we going to be sitting here? Let me give us an example. In another 10 games, are they 13-7 or are they 11-9? Right? Did they kind of build off of this fast start or did they come back down to earth? In 10 games, when we're 20 games in and we're a quarter through the season, are we talking about the Lakers being top 4 in the West or are they 6th or 7th? I think what they're doing is sustainable. And I think obviously they can grow a lot more based off of just getting healthier. So if anybody's complaining off the 7-3 start, I don't know what to tell you. You shouldn't be complaining. That's, I guess, what I should tell you. We have 2 to 3 weeks of very good basketball is my prediction. All right, let's see what else we got here. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. True. Okay. Hope this isn't the peak of the season. I don't think that's going to be the case. By the way, I don't think so at all. I mean, just think of how many different people that they've had out. 7-3 definitely superseded my expectations. It should have. All right. More people kind of chiming in. I think we're overreacting about the wins. The Hawks shouldn't just expect to beat. They should not have expected to beat them, but that's part of, and they probably, I will say this. I think there's a little bit for me that's, they've had games so far on the schedule where you look at it and you're like, yeah, they're not supposed to win that game, and they win. I'll use the Portland game as an example, maybe Minnesota as an example. They've had some games where I wasn't expecting them to win. So I do think, I definitely think there's a little bit of a piece of this season so far that's been a little bit unpredictable as well. Okay, there was I saw this. By the way, for those who are just wildly complaining in the chat, he's going to be okay. Find some positives. It's healthy. It's better for you. I'm telling you. Find a more positive outlook in life. It's better for you. Mentally, it's better for you. Paul Pierce had said something. I'm going to just kind of jump around here a little bit. But obviously, a lot of the conversation now we're getting a little bit closer. LeBron, when is he going to come back? Is it going to be mid-November was the original time frame? Is he still shooting for that? Does he come back at the end of this, in another week or so when this road trip is done? We'll find out. I'm going to read something here that Paul Pierce said. And I don't know exactly Paul Pierce's angle here, but we're going to read it. And I also don't believe this is going to happen, but we're going to read it. Here's what Paul Pierce said about when LeBron comes back. Paul Pierce doing the KG Certified podcast. He said, when LeBron comes back, LeBron's got to come off the bench. The way you want it to work, you've got to come off the bench. If I'm LeBron, I wouldn't be feeling that. I'm just saying it's for the chemistry of it. He can still give you the same production, and off the bench it would work because his game and Luka Doncic's game don't work. Okay, let me ask this question here. Do we not think that LeBron and Luka can work together? Because I thought that conversation we already had last season, and I thought that already proved that that's fine. There's no issue there. I thought the bigger question was, can Luka and AR work? I didn't know the question was still, can LeBron and Luka work? LeBron and Luka worked last season. It did. And LeBron played off the ball, and he was excellent, did everything he needed to do. He didn't have to have the ball in his hands, and he kind of let Luka orchestrate the offense. So right out the gate here, what Paul Pierce is saying, I'm trying to figure out. Do people think that Luka and LeBron don't work together? Or just kind of fill me in here of the angle that Paul Pierce is trying to take. Now, the question about Bron coming off the bench, and he also says here that he wouldn't do it. And I don't think anybody thinks that the Lakers are going to have LeBron come off the bench. I thought the idea was if anybody's coming off the bench, you'd be asking Austin Reaves to come off the bench, not LeBron. LeBron's not going to come off the bench. He's not going to. And frankly, I don't think he needs to. If there is an argument about the starting lineup, we can go back to that argument down the road. And the question may be still out there, can Luka and Austin Reaves work? But that had more to do with, do you have enough defense starting the game? And is Austin Reaves better off kind of being the quarterback and the facilitator and kind of determining what to do coming off the bench when Luka's not there? LeBron won't come off the bench. And I do not think that there is chemistry issues between Luka and LeBron, nor do I think there's going to be chemistry issues once LeBron comes back. I did a video on Friday. If you guys remember Friday, I was addressing, for some reason, I don't know why it came up, but there were a lot of people that were kind of hating on LeBron, and I don't even know how it came up, but it came up on Friday. So I addressed it, and I took a clip of that, and I put that video up yesterday. There was, I think, 170 comments this morning on that one 9-10 minute clip about LeBron and me trying to address people that were hating on LeBron, whatever their angle was, whatever their reason was. And I don't want to get back into that. I'm just saying there are so many comments that start once LeBron kind of comes into the conversation. Everybody's got opinion about it. This is why he's such a polarizing player. And this is why he's kind of been the face of the league now for 20 plus years. I disagree with Paul Pierce. I disagree with him coming off the bench. I disagree with that he can't work with Luka, and I disagree with the chemistry piece of this. One man's opinion. It's Paul Pierce doing the podcast with KG, And obviously that's going to be a little bit of a conversation. All right, we'll take a look here at some of the comments and see what people think in regards to that and see if that's a problem. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Slee, way too confident based on that reputation. Based on his reputation, odds are there will be trouble. Okay, let's get some more in here. I don't know why you waste your time talking about what LeBron's biggest hater said. I think because it's Paul Pierce. You know, if this wasn't a player that was in the league that has a resume, you know, certainly when he talks basketball, there's a lot of things I think Paul Pierce says that make sense. Maybe not everything. So there's reasons why if Paul Pierce says something, I'm going to take a listen. And I think a lot of these podcasters, if you're a former player and you got, you know, a firm stance on something, I'm going to take a listen. If it's completely idiotic, then, you know, maybe I'll leave it out. Let's see. Bron will be fine as a starting power forward, a supercharged Rui. It's about Reaves and Luka defensively. I agree with that. That's where I thought the starting lineup conversation was. I didn't think it was all of a sudden LeBron. LeBron off the bench is not going to happen. I agree with that as well. I can't take any who take the Lakers are good with Reaves and Luka seriously. Okay, we'll let that kind of play itself out during the season. I do think we got to see more before really making a determination that, hey, this team is a real contender in the Western Conference. Let's see what we got here. Luka can play with you and me, Slee. That's not the issue. I agree with you. I agree with you that on that as well. Defense doesn't work at all casual. Yeah, I still got concerns about the Lakers defense. Sure. I still got some concerns from that perspective. Paul Pierce is a hater and a joke. I got to be honest with you. I mean, whether he's a hater or a joke or whatever the case is, I'm going to listen to some of his comments and see if if he's got some valid points or he doesn't. I don't think he had any valid points in this one. So I don't feel I didn't feel what he said to be an issue that the Lakers have, and I don't think it was accurate. I think his assessment was off. I think his assessment was wrong. So there's my opinion on that, but had to throw that in there primarily based on, like I said, primarily based on what the topic was, and as we get a little bit closer to LeBron coming back. And LeBron's going to be coming back sooner than we know. So, you know, something to keep in mind in regards to that. Okay, I did mention this as we get towards the end of the show. I am going to put some music back on. Today we got to recap the weekend. There's a lot to recap over the weekend, so thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys being a part of the show. I appreciate you guys hanging out here on this channel. And as always, we're on here Monday through Friday, of course, starting at 8 a.m. So please subscribe to the channel. Okay, let me start the weekend recap here. There are some different topics that I'm going to wait till tomorrow. There was an article on ESPN in regards to Austin Reaves. I'm going to wait till tomorrow. Daniel Gafford and potentially an opportunity for the Lakers. I'm going to wait till tomorrow. So there are some really good stuff that I don't want to rush through. I'm going to wait on until tomorrow. Couple stories around the NBA, and then we'll look around the NFL. DeAaron Fox is back for the San Antonio Spurs. I think DeAaron Fox is going to be a game changer for the San Antonio Spurs. They're off to a great start, second best record in the West. Lakers obviously beat them last week. But DeAaron Fox in his first game back, 24 points, 9 of 14 from the field. He's a baller. We got a chance, you know, obviously over the years, see DeAaron Fox with the Sacramento Kings, big-time player, clutch player. He's going to take a lot of pressure off a lot of those youngsters and a lot of pressure off Victor Wembanyama. So he's back in the lineup, something to keep in mind in regards to that piece of it. The NBA does this thing, the Kia MVP ladder. Every week they update it. Let me give you the top 5 MVP candidates right now to start the season through almost 3 weeks of the season. Shai Gilgeous on the top of that list. Giannis number 2. Jokic number 3. Wemby number 4. They got Luka all the way down at number 5. Now, part of the reason why Luka's there, probably because of the amount of games he's missed. And some of these other players are just putting up wild numbers and crazy stats, and that's probably got a lot to do with it as well. So something to keep in mind here, the Kia MVP ladder, we'll take a look at it every week. And where Luka Doncic is on that list today, he's number 5. One quick thing on the NBA standings I want to get into real quick. You guys look at the standings yet to start off? I'm going to share this with everybody. I think this is kind of cool to see. There's a kind of little surprise here in the Eastern Conference. Look who's atop the East. The Detroit Pistons at 8-2. They've won 6 in a row. I got no hate towards the Detroit Pistons. I'm a big fan of Cade Cunningham. They're making it happen. And you could see what the Eastern Conference looks like. Detroit, Cleveland, New York, Chicago, after starting maybe 5-0, are 1-3 in their last 4. Miami's there, Milwaukee's there. Gives you an idea. In the West, look at OKC, 10-1. Then San Antonio, Denver, Lakers, Rockets, and Minnesota. Minnesota just getting Anthony Edwards back. So obviously they're going to go back into winning mode. They played Sacramento last night. Kings, not a good team. That is not a good team. Okay, a couple things around the NFL here as we work through our weekend recap. Eagles and the Packers tonight, phenomenal Monday Night Football game. Looking forward to watching that game, so we'll all get a chance to watch that a little bit later tonight. Could I say what could potentially be just the best team in the NFL? Are the Rams the best team in the NFL? They go to San Francisco, put up 42, and probably could have put up more. 42-26 over the Niners. The Rams 7-2 on the season. They got in the NFC West, them and the Seahawks both 7-2. So look at the NFC West. The Niners 6-4, the Rams 7-2, the Seahawks 7-2. Very, very competitive there. Chargers 7-3. They beat the Steelers last night 25-10. So they're another team that's making some noise in the AFC. If you look at the top of the AFC, it's the Colts, the Broncos, the Patriots, the Steelers are the top 4. And then in the NFC, it's Seattle, Philly, Green Bay, Tampa. And just because of Seattle, I think beating the Rams in a head-to-head. I don't know actually if that's head-to-head or is that just division. Rams are number 5 in the NFC, but they might be the best team in the entire NFL. Quick thing here on NCAA, I'm just going to point out the top 5 teams in college football: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia. There's your top 5 right there in college football. So obviously now it's getting a little bit more interesting as we get closer to the playoffs. One quick mention in MLS. San Diego FC, 4-0 yesterday. I'm going to try to go to their game in a couple of weeks. They'll host Minnesota. So we're at the, I think, quarterfinals. I'm starting to get into this whole MLS thing. You know, these got a team. That's kind of fun. 4-0. So they beat Portland. They move on. I think it's Vancouver, LAFC, and then it's SDFC versus Minnesota. So there you go. Okay, I got a question for everybody here real quick. This will be my final topic of the day, and we'll just kind of, get people's thoughts and opinion on this one. There was an article that came out, I think it was yesterday or the day before. No, it was yesterday. Guardians closer Emmanuel Clase, Luis Ortiz indicted for pitch rigging. All right, I'm going to ask you guys a question here. Let me just first get to the article. Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz were charged with fraud, conspiracy, and bribery stemming from an alleged scheme to rig individual pitches that led to gamblers winning hundreds of thousands of dollars, according to an indictment unsealed by federal prosecutors on Sunday. All right, a little bit more details here. By the way, this kind of has something to do, tie in the Terry Rozier, tie in the Chauncey Billups, all that other stuff. Clase arranged with a bettor as early as May 2023 to throw specific pitches for balls so the gambler could place prop bets and profit. Ortiz, prosecutor said, joined the scheme in June 2025, and between the two, gamblers won at least $450,000 wagering on their own pitches. They got kickbacks. That was part of it. All right, I got a question that means a lot to me from an audience perspective. What do we make of just the state of sports right now and all this online gambling? What do we make? Just give me your opinion. What do you make of the DraftKings, the FanDuels, the Underdog, the Sleepers, the this, and how embedded all the leagues are with these gambling sites? That when you're watching a game, that there's prop bets out there, that a lot of the ads are all coming from the same place. I want your opinion. I got some, decisions to make for myself in this field and in this world. I want those who are listeners, I want those who are customers of the channel that are on here, I want your opinion. Because I'm not going to lie to anybody here. Last 3 weeks or so, once this stuff came out with the NBA, and now we're obviously reading more and more stuff, man, this stuff it's been a turnoff for me. It's been frustrating. Let's put it that way. It's been frustrating. I think it's taken away from the sports that I enjoy. I hate it. I hate it from that perspective, that's taking away. And I don't know how much the leagues are really paying attention to this stuff and maybe respecting the consumer and saying, are we going a little bit too far with all this stuff? I know we're getting blinded by the money, but I want your opinion. I want your opinion on it. Maybe for a lot of people, they don't care. It doesn't mean anything. Maybe they're playing all day and they want this a part of sports. But I do want to get I want to get the opinion of those that are the customers, the ones that are, watching shows like this, that are a part of, maybe you guys are doing this all the time. I want your pulse for it. So let's see what we got here. Let me read some of these. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got here. That Clause A stuff is crazy. Okay. Feds are coming down on these guys. Let's see. It's a joke is what I make of it. Okay. Legit gambling is fine. Okay. I think gambling shouldn't be allowed to be advertised like it's going to ruin the youth. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys what my goal is by asking this question. I just want a state of how you guys feel about it. And then I could kind of figure out some stuff on my own end. Online gambling is poison. Okay. Gambling is addictive and destructive. Okay. It's taking away from the joy of actual sports. Stricter controls and discipline for cheaters. Okay. It's not good in my opinion. The fact people get investigated after winning a lot is bizarre, almost like it's set up for people to lose. Greed spoiled the purity of competition. Okay. I'm not a fan of the gambling. Minimum, we need tighter controls against the cheaters. Okay. Gambling was happening underground and will again if the leagues break from the sponsorships. All right. Gives me an idea. That's all I was looking for. They have legalized gambling in Europe and they can handle it. That's all I was looking for. Want to have an idea of where people kind of stand on some of this stuff. So it gives me kind of an idea as well as I kind of assess some things with the channel. So I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Great show, guys. That kind of flew by today. We're done for the day. I'm back tonight. Lakers taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Right when that game is done, we'll come back with a post-game show. Lakers will win tonight. They'll win comfortably tonight. They'll win in double digits tonight. I got faith that the Lakers just had a bad game on Saturday, and they'll come back and make it happen tonight. I'll see you guys a little bit later. Really appreciate everybody being a part of the show. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday morning, and I'll see you guys tonight after the Lakers take on the Hornets. Thank you, everybody.